Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you so very much. I'm going to read you a very interesting article, and the article is about the nonsense regarding the polls and President Trump. President Trump is in the driver's seat. He might even win Minnesota. You remove Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party because they're not going to have an impact this year. They had an impact in 2016. Gary Johnson got 4.5 million votes. Democrats made a big deal about Jill Stein and the Green Party. Green Party only got 1.5 million votes. So President Trump lost the popular vote by less than 3 million votes, and you had the Libertarian Party taking 4.5 million votes. Libertarians are they're definitely not establishment Republicans, but they're more likely to vote for President Trump than Green Party people are to vote for Madam Secretary. Biden is not going to be Botox B, the amazing, to put it nicely, the jovial cadaver, the exhumed body is not going to be the nominee, not on the centennial of the 19th Amendment. So Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. You watch. She'll either be the nominee or she'll be opposite President Trump on that ballot, because it ain't going to be Biden. They're not going to shove hundreds of millions of dollars down the tubes with a person. There's no way that this man is going to be opposite the ballot, opposite President Trump on that ballot. But anyway, if they do, then Trump wins in a landslide and he wins the popular vote as well. Clinton at least raises, I think, enough money so they get the popular vote, but still lose the Electoral College. They will lose the Electoral College, and I'm not the only person who thinks that. Well, I'm not the only person who has a problem with polls that almost always have Democrats overrepresented. So 30 to 40 Democrats are asked. 30 to 40 more Democrats are asked than Republicans. The Republicans who answer are very likely never Trumpers. Or, the Bush-era Republicans who run ads nowadays. You're not going to get many independents to answer the phone, or even Republicans, really, or even, I should say, Trump supporters to answer the phone when CNN or ABC News calls. You have to understand, Democrats still see the world as Republican and Democrat. Media still sees the world as Republican and Democrat. There's Republican, there's Democrat, then there's Trump supporter. And Trump supporter don't believe the nonsense. People of all different backgrounds, people of all different ideologies. I'm voting for President Trump primarily because his foreign policy is reversing the failures of the past 16 years before he took office. So don't believe that there's just one type of Trump supporter. That's what, the New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN want you to believe. Don't believe that. But here with Democrats, Dingle compares Biden poll surge to Clinton in 2016. I don't believe these numbers. Former vice president has surged ahead of President Trump by a substantial margin in recent polls, but two Democrats from the key swing state of Michigan are not convinced that it means anything. Representative Debbie Dingle and Governor Gretchen Whitmer reportedly warned voters not to take the recent numbers for granted, noting that a lot can happen between now and November. Some people say, oh, look at the numbers, Dingle said during a Michigan Women for Biden online event. Women for Biden. I don't believe these numbers, Dingle noted that the election is roughly 5 months away, pointing to how much has changed in the past 5 months. Well, I really don't think much has changed, actually. I don't think much has changed. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, hello. I'll tell you, the biggest story nowadays is actually not whatever media is obsessed over. The biggest story is Oh, Amy Klobuchar withdraws from Biden VP selection. Gee, you think? The person who could have charged the officer who murdered George Floyd. Gee, you think Amy Klobuchar could have done a better job in 2006? Here, 4 years ago, many of you on this phone call thought I was nuts. She reportedly said, I was in enough communities and heard enough people talking that I was very worried about the outcome of the election. And the interesting thing is, it's unbelievable, too. You hear a congresswoman like Debbie Dingell, who is very, very knowledgeable, very intelligent, been in politics for a long time, a lot more in tune with what is going on than, let's say, Pelosi or other Democrats. But you hear this kind of regret in their voice. Gosh, I've been hearing. You hear this also from celebrities or pundits that kind of got somewhat of the pulse. They thought that Clinton was going to win, but they were kind of like, well, I'm hearing rumblings. And why are people voting for President Trump? Why are people moving away from the Democratic Party? Why? Why will he win again? These are questions that, like, they're given the answers in June. We have the answers. We know there's 1,000-boat flotilla in Jacksonville. And poor Biden couldn't even get, plankton or a bed of algae or seaweed or drifting plywood. He couldn't even get drifting plywood. But you look, and it's like people are so they're like apologetic. They're so disheartened. They're so disheartened to learn that there were people who are upset enough to vote Trump. See, but they have it backwards. People are not upset enough to vote Trump. They want to vote Trump because of the things because of his attributes, which is basically not giving a you-know-what. He doesn't care. He goes and he's going to implement the economic policy, the foreign policy, the domestic policy that he was elected to implement. He will not care about the apoplectic, hysterical, seething, fuming reaction from Democrats and media and Hollywood. So he stands for something. People vote for him because he stands for something. He does not stand for the nonsense that Democrats and media, because they're still at it. It is June 18th of 2020, and they're still going with the same playbook. Bigot, xenophobe, Russian interference, and temperament, and they're doing it all over again. They have not deviated. They have not deviated from their strategy. They will lose again with the same strategy. Now, do you want me to play Biden clips now? Because I can do this all night. I can go and play Biden clips where he's running for Senate, and the leg hairs and cornflakes, and he wants the cure to be worse than the problem. We can go through all of those. And you ain't comment. That was 3 days before the tragedy that took place. So we can go through all of that. They're not going with Biden. But again, just looking at the polls, you have you have Parabiology 101, hello. You have, ladies and gentlemen, you have you have media that, okay, fine. Well, let's do some Biden clips here. You know the thing. All you have to do is type in the thing. And it's just All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on. So people say, you're not going to be, you just said Biden. Don't worry about it. Madam Secretary will be nominee. Like, why? What's changed? From March 17th to now, what has changed? But here.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
Yeah. So is this they're gonna raise $1 billion for this? I want to know. That's why Debbie Dingell and even Gretchen Whitmer are like, yeah, the polls are not accurate. We don't want to get complacent for people to think showing up in Michigan doesn't matter. I know Joe Biden gets it. I know he'll be there. 4 years ago, many of you on this call thought I was nuts, she said. I was in enough communities and heard enough people talking that I was very worried about the outcome of the election. President Trump is in the driver's seat. Now, he holds his own future. He can decide his fate. And I would just urge him not to be lured into any type of, because they're going to try to elicit certain reactions. And he should be, he's the one who should initiate whatever, like usually he's a counterpuncher, and I think that he should have a strategy and not just react. He shouldn't just react. I don't want President Trump to just react. He should have a strategy and stick with the strategy. And honestly, it would actually do him, it would serve him well not to maybe ignore certain, certain feuds. I don't know. I'm just, he's in the driver's seat. Jimbo! They're amoeba on Saturn. They can out-debate Biden. I mean, even the amoeba are favored. Vegas even has the amoeba favored. Jimbo! So let's just, so people say to me, well, you said it was going to be Hillary. Well, just listen here.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
Jimbo. So I'm telling you, they don't get the popular vote with this man. Okay, they don't get the popular vote with. And I'm not even going to bring. There goes my $2 speaker. I'm not even going to. I'm not going to even bring up the "you ain't" comment. Let's just do, he literally said he's running for Senate. Okay? We'll do this here. This is Reuters, by the way. This is Reuters. Jimbo, thank you again. This is Reuters, people. Okay? This is not a conservative outlet. This is mainstream media, Reuters. Then they talk about President Trump and drinking water. Now, do you think they play that clip with you know the thing? They don't play anything that has one of Biden's endless, absurd comments. They are propping this man up, protecting him, sweeping any scandal under the rug with Tara Reid, Burisma, anything. The Charlemagne interview, nobody remembers. They are in damage control 24/7. And something's going to happen, I am telling you. And Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee because she's the only chance they have. That should tell you something about the Democratic Party. She could actually win. if President Trump, when she takes the mantle from Biden, if President Trump doesn't play it smart, he could lose. But I think that, he's in the driver's seat. He will win. I predict 8 years, and I've been predicting 8 years since 2017. President Trump is going to win. And so here, just listen to this. They're not... Would you spend, you have a Ferrari that broke down on the way to Vegas. And so, but 4 years ago, you have a Ferrari that broke down on the way to Vegas. So then do you buy a 1972 Pinto? Do you then do that and say, gosh, the Ferrari didn't work, so I think I'm going to buy the Ford Pinto? Okay? Yeah, because the Ferrari didn't work. So, because the Ferrari broke down 4 years ago, we're going to go with the 1972 Ford Pinto. Does that make any sense at all? Does that make any sense at all? But here.
Who's going to determine who the next president of the United States is going to be?
Joe Biden always speaks like this. He always speaks like sold. He always speaks like and as he squints when he squints. Come on. He's always speaking really fast because it's almost like he doesn't really. It's almost like he's not really running.
You really are. You're the ones that sent Bill Clinton to the presidency.
Oh my goodness.
The ones that sent Barack Obama to the presidency. And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. You'd like to see help.
I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. This is the man they're going to defeat Trump with.
Candidate for the United States Senate. Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
I told you Hillary Clinton was going to be nominee. He's running for Senate. What more do you have to know? I told you. It's right here.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over.
Okay. So what more do you need? What more do you need? What more do you need? What more do you need to know? I mean, look, we can do this all night. Here, let's do this all night. Here. All night long. Well, let's see. Okay. I mean, which one do we do? Okay, cure worse than the problem. Here. And we can go all night. It's like, we do this. We've done this all the time. It's like, it is what it is. Nothing's going to change. They're still out there. All of these, here.
The recommended period for keeping businesses shut and people at home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
Nobody understands what that means. Nobody understands what that means. But do you understand? They don't care. April Christman, thank you. April, April, thank you so very much. April Christmas, thank you so very much. Thank you, April. Thank you, April. So this is like, I mean, they're going to roll with this. I don't, it's like, am I the only person like who is evaluating this and saying this cannot be? Maybe I am. But I'm still, I can only tell you what I see. It's not just because I wrote in 2017 it'll be the biggest political call of all time in the Huffington Post. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. President Trump's going 8 years. I already have half of that prophecy. That's going to happen. They're not going to defeat President Trump. They have nobody. The only person they have that could possibly defeat Trump is Clinton. And she ain't going to do it either. So you have, I mean, we can listen to this again.
Problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
Am I the only person that sees this? Am I the only person that cares? So, April Christmas, thank you. Thank you, April. Thank you. I mean, the issue here, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. You have Democrats, even Gretchen Whitmer is like, yeah, the polls are not accurate. Okay? There's a reason. These polls are pure public relations. These are like a press release. A press release is not a journalistic endeavor. It is, you're selling something. You're publicizing something, and almost always you're selling. You're marketing. You're trying to create an image. You're trying to inform the public of an event or a product or something that there's a reason you want the public to know about something in a press release. That's marketing. You are trying to sell something. You are trying to introduce something. You're trying to inform the public because it's lucrative to do so for some reason. It is people who write press releases, people who issue a press release, they're not doing it for the benefit of humanity. They're doing it because it's lucrative, because they're making money, honey. That's why they're doing it. Just like when they yell Medicare for all, the people who yell Medicare for all, the pundits, are making lots of money. Because people who listen say, gosh, they're really fighting for us. Or the politicians, oh my God. And then, what Medicare for all? There's, again with my wacky $2 speaker. There's no Medicare for all in the House. They didn't pass a Medicare for all bill because they're just lying. They don't care. What's Green New Deal bill? Alex Spur. Alex, thank you so very much. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. April, Alex, thank you so very much. Jimbo. Alex Spur, thank you again. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, Democrat Dingle compares Biden poll to surge to Clinton. But Biden poll surged to Clinton in 2016. I don't believe these numbers. Democrats are overrepresented. When asked about the economy, everyone chooses Trump. When asked about the most important issue, everyone says the economy. And they add two things like the pandemic and the protests. And they say, well, what do you think of Trump's reaction? Well, what do you expect people to say? Every single day is how Trump's reaction is horrible. They're not gonna vote on that in November. First of all, you need voter turnout. The only people with 1,000 votes, armada is Trump. People, you have 1,000 votes. Let me read this again. I'm trying to tell you, you couldn't even get drifting plywood for Biden. Plankton for Biden 2020. You couldn't even get that. He has an armada basically in Jacksonville. 1,000 boat flotilla. Jacksonville flotilla for Trump's birthday. It's Trump's birthday. For Biden's birthday. Jimbo pulls a lot of HRC to rake it in for the foundation. Yep, until she lost. Yep. Jimbo. Yep. Jimbo. It's unbelievable, Jimbo. Thank you. And that's public relations also. Climb BMX. Your impressions are excellent. Please do them regularly. Oh, Climb BMX, I want to thank you so much. I remember in Arkansas, I used to have my old BMX bike. I used to ride around and say hello to all the honeys. And then Hillary took my bike and turned it into melted steel. Climb BMX, thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind of you, Climb BMX, thank you. I do have a my William Barr. People don't like. I just that's like my William Barr talks like this. And William Barr, when he talks like this, he's always so guarded because he knows that the media dislikes him. But he's an egghead who's just waiting until Trump wins again to finally indict some people. Climb BMX, thank you so very much. I want to thank you so much, Climb BMX. Climb BMX, greatly appreciated. Thank you. Jimbo! Give my best to the BAL boys in Australia. Thank you. Jimbo, as always. There's no way they're going with Biden. They have deceived everyone on the planet but me. I'm not rolling with Biden, even though I own like basically all the shirts that have been sold, all two of them. I own 2 Biden shirts. There's not a person who has a Biden shirt, bumper sticker. There's not a person who owns anything to do with Biden. And Democrat, you cannot win an election simply saying you're not the other political party. You can't simply say we're not Trump. That's what they're trying to do. They're like, well, everyone doesn't like him. But they're not everybody. Climb BMX, thank you. Jimbo, thank you. Parabiology 101. April, thank you again, April. Thank you. Parabiology 101. CHA, I'm not the only one who loves your impressions. With all these channels you're doing, I want a comedy channel with impressions. Thank you so much. You know what? Parabiology 101, thank you so much for always watching and for the kind words. I tried to do the Bizarro World Goodman, but it takes a lot out of me because the character was like yelling all the time. But if I could do like the Bill Clinton channel, but then like, I mean, I'd have to provide content of like 5 minutes or so. And I don't know what I would say at Bill Clinton. And so, as I read War and Peace, page 396, I just want to tell you, when I was younger, I don't know what I would say. There's only so much Bill Clinton I can do. But thank you so very much, Parabiology 101. Thank you, Climb BMX. Thank you for the kind words, everybody. Greatly appreciated. Sarah, hello. I don't know how it's going to happen, but when it does happen, they are going to, you understand, they are not even going to they're not going to flinch. It is going to be a seamless transition. Seamless. Because honestly, like, at this point right now, they're probably begging for someone to save them from Biden. At this point right now, this is a political machine. It doesn't run on meritocracy. It runs on patronage and legal graft. and public relations. Biden has no clout within the Democratic Party. That's why he got less than 1%. He was vice president because of his personality, really. You can't really, and he was there forever. So he was this amiable person. The amiable, routine, oh, everyone loves me and I'm salt of the earth, that worked when he was lucid and could, when he cared. He is taking one for the team, and media is propping him up. Oh, my God. Let's just listen to some more. I mean, we can do this all night. There's nothing much to say other than, Parabiology 101, thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you. John O'Brien. Oh, yeah. John Brennan. I don't do intelligence. I don't do evidence. I do intelligence. That's so different. I'm so smart. I mean, really, you couldn't understand. These were like the most inept, the biggest imbeciles on the planet. And the left, what they do is they revere these authority figures. The polls say. They're scientific, The polls. Clinton didn't win Texas. That's okay. But the polls are still accurate. Okay. Then they say, well, the polls got the popular vote. Yes, she outspent Trump 2-1, and media was completely on the side of Clinton. And then they have the audacity to say, and then Bill Clinton's like, oh, well, media was just so unfair to my wife. Really? How so? With the server, not email, the server with classified intel on servers outside of the, they would just report. With Trump, it was like, he could have done this and he could have done that. And then with Putin, and then yeah, anything's possible. But with Clinton, they just reported it, and then the Clintons were like, oh my God, they're talking about, oh my God, this is so, how dare you even report this? They never put two and two together. Never. They never put two and two together, ever. It was always, I hate to break it to you, but we found more classified intelligence. I mean, it's probably nothing. Okay, let's see. Should we do the leg hairs or should we do cornflakes? Let's do cornflakes. Cornflakes was a bad dude. No, we've done that. Cornflake. Yeah, let's do corn pop. Was a bad dude. Bad. Bad. Bad to the bone. Okay, so hold on one second. This DC Examiner, Biden recounts harrowing incident with cornflakes. Yeah, he's really going to be nominee. Yeah, right. And they're going to have a virtual. So how does this work? They're going to win the election. They're going to win the popular vote. They're going to have a virtual, almost all virtual with Biden, who gets like two people on his live streams. Or they get Madam Secretary, and it's the most watched event of all time. Because everyone is either in horror, disbelief, or in complete and utter euphoria, me being me. But here.
3-meter board. And you fell off sideways, you landed.
Okay.
Cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
He was a bad dude. Bad.
And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Yeah, I'm going to be nominee, and that's right. Thank you. Jean de Valette, thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Thank you. Panzer Esquire. I was looking at the active cases of over 40% active cases from counties reporting zero recoveries. Thank you. Yeah, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. So if anybody wants to email me, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. Thank you. Panzer Esquire, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Thank you again for always watching. Yeah, they've gone from They go from Russia to Ukraine to pandemic. It was Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, pandemic. Then Trump's reaction. Trump's reaction. His reaction. Who votes on someone's reaction? Does that make any sense? Panzer Esquire, thank you. Does that make any sense? Who votes on someone's reaction? Well, Trump's reaction was an outrage. How many? I don't care. I don't care if you're outraged. I mean, it's like, you think people on November 3rd, it was like a horrible economic year for them? And everybody knows it's not Trump's fault. We had record low unemployment. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows what. You give the keys to the economy to immunologists, you're going to get what happened. So everybody knows it's not President Trump's fault. And so, like, what do they expect? You think people are going to go November 3rd, they're going to get out of bed, they're going to take time off of work because they can't stand Trump's tweeting? Because Biden gives them such reason to vote? Like, he inspires. Okay, President Obama inspired people. You could say that, his 8 years filled with horrible decisions, but he inspired people. He was a great campaigner. He ran a great campaign. President Trump ran a great campaign. In his way, he inspired a great many people. Okay, he didn't have the media help, but he inspired. President Obama is a great. Bill Clinton is a great campaigner. Finally, one nice thing you ever said about me, you H.A. bad man, I hate you. Bill Clinton is a great campaigner. He is. Panzer Esquire, thank you again. Okay. Madam Secretary is a horrendous campaigner, horrendous, and that's why that they have Biden. That's why they have Biden to make Madam Secretary look fantastic. So you have to understand, like, they are waiting until the very end, whether it's August or I can't imagine that they would allow Biden to take the nomination, because you see CNN, Joe Biden's going to be there in person. Like, we're supposed to be happy. You have like 1,000-boat flotilla. You have 1 million people lining up for Trump's speech in Oklahoma. Trump literally left a state. He literally left a state because he wants everyone yelling and everyone this raucous crowd. He literally left a state in North Carolina, goes to Jacksonville for the for the RNC convention. And the Democrats are like, we have to be super careful. It's going to be virtual. Everyone's going to be 20 feet away in bulletproof cases. This is not going to elicit emotion or enthusiasm. You want to listen to Biden for 1 hour talking about cornflakes? On the 19th Amendment, they're going to waste the 19th Amendment? They'll waste the centennial? 18th Amendment, 19th, do away with it. Yeah, the prohibition. And we learned the prohibition didn't work out, and neither did the 19th Amendment. Just joking. No, I love a bad joke. Biden has, in a way, just as much baggage as Madam Secretary. The only difference is there's no... At least Clinton can inspire certain people. The I'm with her crowd is propping up Biden. He doesn't have like a base of voters. Okay? There aren't a base of voters who appreciate Bidenisms. There aren't a base of voters who, like, in Delaware maybe, but not nationally. That's why he didn't even get 1% in Iowa. He didn't even get 1% in Iowa. So you have Democrat Debbie Dingell and even Whitmer in Michigan. They're like, yeah, and that's a swing state. That's an important swing state. But I'm telling you, Minnesota's in play. First of all, Minneapolis, like $25 million in property loss. You have, they want to, disbanding the police, all that stuff. You have the horrendous tragedy that took place. George Floyd being murdered in a Democratic city, in a Democratic state. So, exactly. Not James, 19th Amendment. Come on, man. You want to abolish it. Just joking, everybody. And then, like, every time, whether it's Madam Secretary or the exhumed body, the vice presidential cadaver, every time they make a horrendous joke, it's always like, just joking. We all know. And then when they lose again, it's going to be the same thing. Oh, my God. The Russia, and the voter suppression, and Russia, and voter suppression, and Russia. And they'll fit climate change in there. It was hotter than usual. Or colder than usual. It doesn't matter. The temperature doesn't matter. And they will not look in the mirror. Don't think for a second. I thought, oh, my God, they're going to rebuild. They're not going to rebuild. She's running again in 2024. Do you understand? She's going to run in 2024. And people say, oh, you said the Clintons. Half of the H.A. Goodman prophecy is that Trump's going 8 years. So he's going to go 8 years anyway. He'll definitely go 8 years with Biden. Definitely. Now, with Clinton, he has to be careful. You cannot be overconfident. You can't go into... See, I don't know. Maybe it's this generation. Maybe it's, people in their late 20s to mid 30s. They didn't really grow up with, like, if you lost, like, or the football coach would say, hey, you're not good. You need to be better because you're not good. It wasn't like, it was, there would be positive reinforcement, but also the reality check is great because then you can actually win. You need to learn why you're not good. Then you can win. Democrats have never been told in the past 4 years why they're horrendous and horrible. They've always been, it was Russia. And a lot of bad things. The Trump base was horrible. Everything was horrible. And they're back again. They're doing it again. They're falling for all the traps they set for themselves. And when they lose again, don't think for 1 second they're going to rebuild. There are people on the left, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they're great. They're great. There's some really wonderful voices on the left that, sometimes I check out and still listen to, but they think maybe like, certain candidate will finally come. It ain't going to happen. It's going to be, the establishment is still going to stay the same, but you will see fissures and even more factions breaking off. Voters will be restless. Democratic voters will realize that, okay, you know what? We can't do this forever. Jimbo! Madam Secretary due in court September 9th. It will be HSC at the convention. The whole court issue. Thank you, Jimbo. Thank you, Jimbo, as always. She will get out of it. She will either get out of it or she'll sidestep every question, and it won't be, Jimbo, it will not be a factor until after the election. That's another reason they ain't going to go with the exhumed body. Nano Horizon, that's a great point. Don't underestimate how desperate the voters could be by November. They could be very hungry, and the Democrats will promise them the world. Exactly. Now, 3G, CG3SSF, exactly. Nano Horizon, great point. And that's something that President Trump has to address. Like, I think that I don't usually critique President Trump's campaign strategies. I actually don't usually critique. But he does have to be careful. He really does have to be careful. And also the all the scandals and litany of horrible failed decisions, the longer Clinton waits to become nominee or to take the mantle from Biden, which wouldn't be much of I would actually, if you put them in a steel cage, my money's on Madam Secretary, because then, Biden would have to find a way in and find a way out. It'd be a big problem. But, you only have August, September, October. It would be 2.5, little over 2.5 months. So the second, it is server time. Don't worry about it. Let's sweep it under the rug. Or, you could go through the litany and they'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter. We focus on this. So the media would have not that long. It could be a brilliant strategy on the part of Madam Secretary. She's going to be nominee. There's no way. And you got to also ask yourself, well, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, not just Madam Secretary. You're talking about the donors. You're talking about the Democratic Party itself. You're talking about Michael Bloomberg spending $1.2 billion. They didn't do this to elevate Biden. The only reason he was viable is because he was going against Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders was horrendous this campaign season. Absolutely horrendous in every way. They retweeted Bernie into oblivion, and they're going to retweet Trump into 8 years. The social media obsession that Democrats have will be one of their many reasons for their undoing, for their demise politically in November. But Climb BMX, thank you. So, I think President Trump really does need to, he needs to be careful. He needs to be careful. He can't, he really cannot fall for any traps. He has to be cognizant of traps. I don't know. I don't think that he. I think they're going to try to get him into absurd social media beefs, and going into the election, going into November, he doesn't need to do that. If he wants to afterwards, he can. But now you're already ahead in the scorecard. It's round 15 or round 12. You're going into the last round of a heavyweight boxing match. you don't need to like, if you're ahead on points, make sure not to get knocked out. That's more important than knocking the opponent out. Just make sure you don't get knocked out and you just keep your lead. Now, that doesn't mean don't fight back. It just means watch out. Because anything that happens, like, for example, let's say Gretchen Whitmer says something about Trump, and then Trump says something about her, and then the media fabricates meaning within Trump's words. Like, he doesn't say it, but, oh my God, did you see what Trump meant to say? And what he meant to say is even worse, will be even worse than, like, that will be what they harp on, what he meant to say. So, I mean, that's the thing, I don't know. I usually don't critique the campaign, but I'm just saying you have to be careful. You have to be careful. That boy for foe, hello. I agree with you. But the thing is, Biden's, the litany of, Kamala Harris said that he worked with segregationists, and that's one reason I don't think he's going to, it's either going to be Hillary Clinton or somebody that Hillary Clinton picks, but you already have California. So if you pick, even Clinton said that you need electoral college, but then if he picks Kamala Harris sunk his battleship on the issue of race. That was like one of the worst debates he had. Well, every debate wasn't that great, but so, and then he had the Charlemagne comment. And they just go ahead, and sweep everything under the rug. It's pretty unbelievable. It really is. It really is. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The charade has to end. They can't go with Biden. You have Brady on the bench and you have Nadler starting. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. Then you have 59 minutes. Amy Klobuchar rules herself out. Gee, wonder why. Senator from the great state of Minnesota, where the tragedy happened. And then Fox News poll, Biden widens lead over Trump. Republicans enthusiastic, but fear motivates Dems. Fear is, first of all, and then you have, so the Fox News poll, Republicans are enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is a positive emotion. Fear is not good. Fear motivates people to protect themselves. Doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. And fear is not a motivating factor for Democrats. Democrats usually want to be enthusiastic. It's really the other way around. Conservatives used to have fear motivate them. Republicans used to have fear motivate them. That's why they lost elections. And Bush won, if you remember, in 2000. He really didn't, he didn't even tout the horrendous foreign policy that he would be known for. He was actually talking about being an anti-interventionist for a second. Republicans, so here you go. Choice for president of voting today, 50% Joe Biden, 38% Donald Trump. It's like, you go with that. 62% of Trump supporters say they're enthusiastic, and 63% of Biden voters say they're only voting for Biden because they fear Trump. They're not going to win. They're going to lose again. And when they lose, it's going to be amazing. It will be really amazing. Jimbo! Don't worry, HA. The media apoplexy works for Trump. It's true. No, you're right about that, Jimbo. You're 100% right. You're 100% right about that, Jimbo. It really does. You're 100% right about that. My only fear is that it could motivate, just enough people to lose a state, or just enough, So, but you're right about that, Jimbo. Exactly, Missy. Exactly. Amy Klobuchar. Who, by the way, Amy Klobuchar, she actually, bizarre how she just miraculously dropped out right before, interestingly enough, right before Super Tuesday. Gee, I wonder why. Because they were all working for Biden? Or, Ladies and gentlemen, so you look at these polls are complete garbage. Oh my God. These are worthless. These polls are so worthless. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Why would you? This has to be if that industry exists, if the public relations industry exists after if the public relations industry exists after polls, after these polls are so dreadfully wrong yet again, I don't know. I can't. I mean, it'll be pretty unbelievable to see the next election if people believe the same polls that were wrong in 2016 that will be wrong this year. Okay, because they weren't right in 20. They weren't. The popular vote was only won because she outspent Trump 2-1. They're not going to outspend Trump 2-1. They're not going to have Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party with 4.5 million votes. They don't have the enthusiasm. So, I mean, how on earth? People don't blame Trump for what's taken place the past 5 months. Like, they just don't. They're not blaming President Trump. There's no logic behind blaming Trump, aside from the apoplectic media coverage. But other than that, there's no logic. Exactly, Cosmic Grandpa. They reflect what the pollsters, the bias of the pollster generally. And asking a question like, if the election were today, that is not an accurate, it's impossible to get an accurate assessment of what will take place on November 3rd by simply saying if the election were held today. It is absurd. Jeff George! 25% of Trump voters are closet voters. Can't admit it. I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, I don't know what, maybe, I don't know about 25%, but I would say at least 5 to 10%. At least. It could be as high as 25%. If you have 60% of Biden, I mean, this is going to be November. People, tell your friends about this channel. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a great segment up on there. You have to tell your friends about this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel. And I'll be doing something with, who knows what I'll be doing with it's like Prince, like the channel formerly known as Bizarro. You gotta think about November 3rd. You have all of November to celebrate. Do you realize that? Just think about November 4th, people. The day after. You talk about a hangover for the Democratic Party. You talk about November 4th is going to make 2016 look like, a fairy tale happy ending. Do you understand? It's going to make 2016 look like, wow, what a great time that was. It was fantastic. I mean, think about November 4th. Think about that for a second. Jimbo pulls 100% meaningless until HSC runs. Exactly. Jeff George, 50% of my office is Trump supporters. They can't say it. We talk outside work. Exactly. Thank you. Panzer Esquire, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Sent. Don't look at it tonight unless you want to go down. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sending it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you have a situation where the obsession over, thank you again, Panzer Esquire, thank you. Thank you. I don't think that the average American is going to, they're going to vote, people are going to vote on the economy. Trump is a president that is seen by both parties as a president focused on the economy. Democrats might not like his policies, but they at least know that he presided over record low unemployment. So, it's going to be interesting. Then, when Clinton becomes nominee, oh my God, everyone's going to watch the debates, and this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel, and then the channel formerly known as Bizarro World Goodman, which is Hyperbole Translator. I'm telling you, I'll be at the forefront of all of this because nobody's even talking. Like, everyone says, sure, I guess you're going to give up on it. No, you just play a Biden clip. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Great talk. Great discussion. To my super chat, thank you. Have a safe and wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. God bless. To my super chat, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I'll be back tomorrow, everyone. I didn't do an upload today. I'll do an upload tomorrow morning. Because there wasn't, the stories this morning were like, I'm certain tomorrow will be a lot more interesting. I'll do an upload in the morning and then 2 live streams in the evening like I usually do. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.